total of 171 for the month. It looks like that was $21,731 with estimates we wrote yesterday, which brings our total written to the month to $300,447. We captured $4,200 of that, what we wrote yesterday, which brings our total captured to the month to $155,01, which is about 45,000 behind our goal. It looks like we sent home 3 jobs yesterday for 35.9 hours, which brings our total hours to the month of 1331, which is a bit behind our goal of 1,800. It looks like we sent home $3,500 yesterday, which brings our total sent home dollars for the month of 190,200, and our hours per day are 66.5. Today's production plan.
Let me go. You want to go?
Sure, I'll do it. I guess let's start with the reassembly, since that stuff has to go home today. This Jeep is still at Lotsmith, James. Chrysler.
I called them yesterday. They were working on it. I asked him when it'd be done. He said it'll be done when he gets.
So whenever that shows back, we'll probably all be tag teaming that to get it out the door. Whenever it gets here. Number one though, I guess, is the Mazda 3. It's done. It just needs glass and finished polishing. Guy, your Mustang.
Put it together right now.
We just talked about the Jeep. When it gets back, we'll all tag team that. This FJ Cruiser is at Lots Beach on the suspension.
Yeah, they're waiting on a couple control arm bolts coming from that Toyota.
And there's no body work.
I told him I need them as soon as possible.
And when it comes back, all it needs is what, a fender liner?
Well,
And detail.
I looked at the fender liner. I really don't see anything wrong with it.
I think it just rubbed a little bit
Well, it
from the
rubbed on
tire.
this little shield that they bought that goes behind that.
So as soon
Very,
as those
very
parts get
minor,
there.
20 minutes, 15 minutes, we'll be done with it when it comes back, detail and send it on. So. But as soon as we get those parts,
And then to paint, number one, it looks like it's going to be my Cruise, which I'm working on to get over there by lunchtime.
guys working on a cruise.
Guys working on a Cruise too, so that will be.
But do that after your,
Yeah.
that's not going to get painted today.
Yeah.
Do it after your Mustang.
And then Charlie's working on a Focus, which will probably be after the guys' Cruise, and that's probably going to
And then
be about all. we're
after
doing.
that, help out making sure the 4 go home today. So
Yeah.
help Ryan's gonna need some help because we don't know when the hell that Jeep's gonna come back from sublet provider. They're kind of being dicks about it. So whenever it comes back, we want to make sure that all hands are on deck. We can get that done. They won't give us a time. So just be ready to help out. If once we get all 4 of those to go home, dive into the X-rays. Paint's going to be loaded up. So as long as we get 2 and 3 done, the ones that we've got assigned in the Focus. So Ryan get one, Charlie get one, Guy get one. Stop there, finish up the X-rays because we got more cars dropping on Monday.
Is that still noon? Did you say that
Well,
yesterday?
that's what we're telling sublet provider because we still have to put the fender, the hood, and get everything back together. But they won't give us a definitive time. So it may be 3 o'clock and we've got 4 people diving in to make that happen.
Tough on those things, rewiring that thing.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, we're just kind of waiting to
So
see.
they don't know when they're gonna-
As long as we get it back before. I mean, even if we got it at 4 o'clock, I'm sure we'd find a way to make it happen. So hopefully we get it before then.
This one, the white Focus that's down at Lots Beach I sent with the alignment yesterday. Did you hear anything back on it?
We got a Cruise back, a white Cruise.
Or white Cruise, I'm sorry.
It's back. It's here.
Did it line up okay?
Okay.
It lined up, but Desi thought it pulled a little bit when she was driving it
It's
back.
got a new tire on that.
Okay, so that's what's going on. But yeah, it aligned and it's back. We picked it up at the end of the
Do
day.
that. Do we want to sublet that to someone that farm that out to someone else, like Anderson's? It's going to have a bearing pressed.
When is one of the parts getting here?
Everything will be here today.
I'd say send it to Bill and we let him know what we're getting paid for it.
It is in the knuckle?
Ford told me the bearing's in the knuckle.
Okay, well then, if
If
that's
we
the
if
case,
it's
I
bolt
can
in,
put it
we'll do it. If it gets pressed, sublet it out to Bill
Okay.
or probably
I
Bill
can
because
probably
last
make
week's
that
is
go
busy.
home if that's the case.
Sweet. And I see you got it projected for Tuesday, so we're ahead of schedule on that. I did see that we don't have a projected date for a couple of these, so you might just check the dates on some of those.
All right, 8 Waste guy.
Let's do Lowe's. I was in Lowe's in today the other day, and every place I walked, you know, when you're doing lean and things bug you. Well, every place I walked, there were pallets of insulation. 25 rolls on a pallet, and they were everywhere. You couldn't get to nothing. So apparently, the insulation company has overproduced insulation. They've had to transport it around because there's no place to put it. Downstream, the employee potential is wasted because they're moving everything around, and you got customer dissatisfaction because nobody can get to anything. And everybody probably wants the 6-inch insulation. This is a 3-inch.
What were they moving around?
The inventory.
Okay. What's the customer doing?
They're waiting for all of this
Okay.
because they're not getting what they want.
Are we missing one?
Defects. They dump the pallet over and dump a bunch, tear holes in them, so it's useless.
Oh, and then what do they do to the defect?
They have to over-process.
Over-process to clean it up, and they're not getting paid to do that. Cool. Good job, guys.
All right, improvements. I got my video ready and was kind of cleaning up and getting myself ready to try and get that over to paint, since we're in a big hurry on that this morning.
I was over here cleaning up some of my mess that I made yesterday, so actually work today.
I cleaned and messed with stuff. I don't even know what it is. Combine clothes.
The morning kind of
Oh, yeah, I did
happened.
my combine stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kanban
just some
card,
stuff.
okay. And then today's the order for color vision, so make sure
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
all the stuff is ready to go. If you got something that's not Kanban, make a list, get the list to Ellen so she can make those Kanbans.
Casey actually cleaned up for me last night, so. I
Thank
didn't-
you, sir.
I didn't have to do that, but I did get out there and get all the mud cleaned up in the drive-in bay this morning, and
That's what. Do we need to mop that, or did
Yeah.
most of it sweep up?
I haven't got the pile cleaned up yet, but,
You cleaned up
yeah,
and
we
say
probably
something to
ought
Eddie, he'll come up and
mop it, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Get something for a little oil, we had a bad oil leak in there yesterday, so.
My pictures aren't attaching, but I'll have one. You guys just look this over. It's the paint gun clean, primer gun clean procedures. Just make sure that it's worded right. So once we get it.
Yesterday I was helping Nate clean out the paint booth, and I grabbed the wrong broom because there was supposed to be a booth broom, which there was a label over there I found out, but it was hidden behind the flags, so I made it more central so I could see it. And then after
we talked about the struggle as it happened.
yeah, after that I came and helped Ryan do a little bit of mud work.
We figured out we had a dustpan that was didn't have a home, so I made a home for it. We had one over here that was in the wrong home, so I found its correct home. Then after that, I was just sweeping and kind of cleaning. Didn't really have an improvement.
I got benches cleaned up in the mixing room. Ran around, got the order put together, and then late last night before we shut down, me and Cam got the booth filters cleaned out, changed out, and everything.
I cleaned and disinfected my phone and keyboard on my computer, and I'm replenishing some coolants that I ordered yesterday.
We were working on tours this morning. So.
All right, Leland, you want me to show mine first? Okay, so this is, I think his name's Philippe from Tor.
Philip from Portugal.
From Portugal, from the company Torre or Toro or something. But anyway, this is his, I thought this was kind of appropriate because they've been doing lean about the same as us, and you guys have been doing lean too, about the same as us. So I just thought, this is his end of the year message, and kind of what I wanted to do is, we really dove into lean really hard this year, I feel, so I would like for everyone during the video just to be thinking of something, their favorite improvement or their favorite thing that they've learned about lean in the last year, and we'll just kind of go over to our own little recap of lean here in the shop, maybe at the end of the video. So here it is.
Hi everyone, it's Philippe from Portugal. So
My parents, Kayla's parents, and I tell them about lean, and I just show them little improvements that I'm doing, and they don't quite understand. I mean, they think it's awesome, but I almost feel sorry for people that don't know about lean. So that's kind of my favorite thing is I notice the way I think at from everything I'm doing at my house as far as remodels and projects. Like lean is constantly in my mind, and I'm so much happier with the improvements that I'm doing around the house than just things I never would have even thought of before. So.
Now, what I like about the lean is I've always been a person that feels like everybody needs to chip in. I mean, if you run the paper towels down, replace it. Don't wait till the next guy comes in with wet hands and there's no paper towels. And we're not perfect at it, you know what I mean? But we're doing so much better. Putting things, everything has its designated place. We're real good about putting things back. Not always, but most of the time, things are getting put back. And I feel like everybody's looking out more and more all the time for each other. Because, I mean, to me, that's what lean's all about. You got to be a team if you're in business. And probably my favorite improvement is my toolbox. I mean, it's so much simpler since everything's organized, it's so much simpler to work out of, and if something's missing, you see it right away. You're not digging through drawers and so on and so forth. But yeah, no,
How did this compare to when you were a youngster in the body world?
It's completely different. I mean, then you were, man, I ain't got time to mess with you. I got things to do, or I'm going to show you one time. But, now, I mean, if I've got a problem, I can holler at Ron or the guy or whoever, and vice versa. I mean, if they got somebody's got a door, you drop, take a minute. You're doing everything to make each other faster, and that's what it's all about. And the young guys just stepping in, getting into it. But yeah, just if you can convert an old dog like me and this other old dog, you're doing something right. Okay. But anyway, no, I like Ryan. I feel sorry for shops that people that don't know about it. I mean, don't get into it because I mean the production it's outstanding. What we can do in a short amount of time when it comes to crunch time or whatever, like we were talking about earlier about the Jeep, you're looking at I don't know how many thousands of dollars that job is, but we're talking about something
Almost 50 hours.
Okay, 50 hours, you bring that puppy back, of course we've got it tore down, x-rayed and painted, but you bring it back, you give us an hour, we'll have that puppy out here.
That's amazing.
Stuff you never saw before. You've been how long you been on a body
It's going to
shop?
have to be towed back over here to give you an idea.
So,
It's not ready to drive or anything, and we'll have it ready.
But anyway, I mean, just the difference is phenomenal. I mean, people aren't into the lean concept, and they're working together. I mean, that's the big thing. But that's what lean's all about.
Right.
I guess the one improvement I think is the handle that Ryan put on the welder. I used that the other day and thinking how easy that was, rather than pushing the bottle off the card, or just how simple that was to. And something that bugs you is you go somewhere and the waste, it's like in Lowe's, and everywhere you go and you just see stuff like that. It's just kind of aggy. You could do this so much better. Why don't you do this?
You've changed your thinking because I mean, whenever you told me that it pissed you off when you were at Burger King, because they were out of this and you couldn't do that. I was like, oh, you got it. You got it figured out. We've ruined you for all your retail experiences, but
because you go up there, there's a win thing on the door, they're out of coffee, or they're out of eggs, or they're out of eggs.
He's thinking they should have had a combine.
What did you tell me this morning about your thought process when you were introduced to this?
Oh, I thought it was a bunch of shit. You ask these guys. I told them it was. Yeah. Ask Lance.
Yeah.
They asked me what I got out of the meeting down there at Greenbelt. I think it's a bunch of shit.
And now?
Oh yeah, I'm 360 around like that. Yeah, I have to eat my words.
Well, that was in what, 2012? That was June of 2012.
Yeah.
So when you and Dad went through Greenbelt for the first time, and I was in January 2012, and we've come a long way since then.
Yeah, a long way. Yeah, I was telling him this morning how far we've come.
Well, I've kind of got a different perspective on it as well, coming from the insurance industry. So I've seen hundreds and hundreds of different shops around the country that we implemented direct repair facilities in. That it's so far and above the quality of what I've experienced in the past, and there's no sense in getting into how bad some of them were, but how good they could be if they adopted the process. Yeah, it was new to me too when I got here. I was kind of like, okay, fine, I'll go with the flow. But it overtakes you, and I'm implementing some things at home. Quite frankly, it's getting a little expensive at home. Doing some of the things I'm doing, and my wife's not on board yet. So I think the concept itself is probably the most important thing that I can relate as being important. be?
Probably mine is just the involvement everybody's taken from when we started, when beginning of the year, when we kind of started implementing more of the lean culture. You know, I started in 2009 or 2010 when you guys sent me. We came back with a bunch of ideas. I went into it, and I was like, we came back, we tried to implement a bunch of ideas, but not everybody was on board, so it's kind of been a slow process till then. But, you know, first it started off with just you doing the production, then me and you. Now it's everybody involved, and just like Charlie said, we had a car that got to paint last week, the one that had everything but the roof and the hatch to be painted. Got it in the booth that morning, painted it, had it out, built by 2 o'clock and ready to go home. An all over paint job. And I've never seen that, but it was the combination of tearing it down right, make sure all the parts were here, everybody pitching in. There were 4 guys working, 1 on each door. Had it built in an hour, had it done, over to wash off, polished it. It was awesome.
We struggled along the way to be able to do that,
But-
because we didn't know because
Yeah.
we didn't know you had to all disassemble it the same way, store things the same way, because if somebody else jumps in, think of the military, that where they put their ammo, where they put how they build their pack, everything is the same, so that anybody can step in to take over. Whenever we didn't have a standardized process before our X-ray repair planning seminar type of thing, we struggled with that. You know, somebody stepping in to help was hard. Now it's easy. Everybody does it the same, and we know where to find the stuff.
Yeah, and like if I'm running a car lot speech and I'm gone for 30 minutes, someone finish up with their car, they can go to the board, they know exactly what they're working on, they know, you know, they've been involved in the morning meeting, they've said what's going to happen, what can't happen, so they know where to go next, and they're not standing around farting around while I'm gone or Casey's gone, or someone who can get him a car, they can perform everything themselves. So.
Okay. I've only been here for 2 months, but I can say my favorite thing by far is going to be all the visual stuff. So whenever someone tells me to go grab a car, I can go over to the keyboard and figure out where it is and grab the key and just go straight to the car. I just like all the visual stuff. It makes it a lot easier.
Me, I've been here for what, 1.5 years now, and we started getting heavy into it in January or so again. And I think my favorite part about it is the team aspect. I mean, my parents own a body shop, so I kind of know what it was like with people trying to get jobs, or individuals trying to get their jobs done and pushed over to paint, and paint trying to swallow everything from 4 different body guys and stuff like that. It flows a whole lot better. I mean, yes, you're still getting jobs done the old way, but they're not getting done in the amount of time they should be getting done, as everyone you know knows. I also like what Cam said, all the visuals. I've started helping my parents out with some of that stuff. They're a lot more visual at their shop now because of what we've implemented here. So it's just being able to not only help ourselves, help out our peers down the work floor, but we're also helping other body shops, you know, helping people out as a whole, helping the industry out. So that's probably my favorite thing.
Mine would probably be the whole idea behind the 2-second improvements is just trying to save 2 seconds at a time, and I guess how all those little things add up to saving quite a bit of time in the long run. I remember when I started here, which about, I don't know, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I remember one of the first things I was thinking was, this shop's pretty clean, you know, it's organized, and we've come a long way since then. And just having everything where you need it, you know, point of use, makes your job a whole lot easier. And I guess to use an example of that, one of my favorite improvements would be the mixing room, how we had big liners over here, the PPS cups, the small liners, and we had lids over here, collars over here, and you do about six trips around the mixing room before you had a liner ready to go and everything. And now it's all just boom, 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 just right there. And it was been doing that for I don't know how long, just wasting 2 seconds, 3 seconds, going back and forth.
Not
So,
even realizing it.
and yeah, not even thinking about it. Also, another thing would be that we did real simple is every time we go to clean out our paint guns, and you blow them out, get them good and dry when you're done. But we're always having to either borrow this hose on the other side of this wall, somebody's using it, and you got to walk around, look for a blower every single time. So you just got to found a short hose, a little designated hose, and a designated air blower, and it just stays there, so I don't have to search for that every single time, and you waste so much time just doing that. You know, so saving time.
And we couldn't see it before. We were swimming in waste, but we had no idea, so we had to learn how to see the waste first, right?
I have to say visual indicators again. For example, we line out everything where everything goes, our X-ray base, lined out where the car's supposed to be. I lined out this aisle here to keep this aisle clear to bring parts through. Before we did that, I'd come in the morning, there'd be 2 cars here, 1 car there, this much space, you get a big box through the door. So I have to come in over here, go all the way around the shop and this and that. Now we've got everything lined out, set standard, where I can just bring stuff right in, get it done and over with. And
What did we struggle? How many times did we talk about don't park a car here in the morning before that? I mean, dozens.
yeah, even when we
and nobody
pull in
got
cars
it. So,
at night, we still, everything's lined out, don't park it on this line, because, you know, it's a safety issue as well, you know. If we have an explosion or something, we need to get out the doors, we need to have a clear aisle to the doorways. So we have that lined out, you know, in case of emergency, we know which way to go. Also, I like how it's changed my mindset on me being a counterman for so many years, having so many issues thrown at me at once. I do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Well, I'll do this later, do that later. I've learned not to do batch work, but just to do one single thing at a time. Start it, finish it, move on to the next, instead of trying to do several things at once. So that's kind of changed my mindset a little bit.
your experience with
Yeah.
Lean?
Our biggest change this year has certainly been the team aspect of it. Working for a dealership, you have a lot more levels to go through to make any of these changes, and it ends up being a lot more of a hassle. But honestly, probably the best thing I've seen is just the stuff we failed at. Not really failed, but being able to implement something, and then somebody else can come along and see, hey, this works a little bit better this way. Let's try this for a while, you know. And then it just grows and grows from there. You know, it just keeps going up, and it's a never-ending process. You always find something else you can do for it. You know.
Chris, anything to share your wisdom-wise?
Yeah. All right. So I've been involved in this since about 2009 is when I went through my first green belt. I really didn't understand the terminology. You know, I saw it was exciting, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I've been to green belt 3 times. It wasn't until I read the 2-second lean and shared it with this guy here that really it changed the life for me, and it flipped a switch. And this year's been a big deal. You know, all my guys were on commission. They all had that attitude that hooray for me, F you was the policy, right? It's all about me, it's all about me, all about me. I believe the one thing that Lean has done for us in our organization at this point is now we share the work, they share the load, they change up their job roles in order of what's most needed. The camaraderie and the sharing of information and the sharing of knowledge is probably the biggest thing that's happened for 2015. 2016, you know, we hope to get to this standard and you know, have some more of the visual controls, but 2015 was probably, you know, getting over the commission thing. You know, that was the huge hurdle for me, is that how do I convince, you know, a dealership that the owner for 35 years has paid everybody on a commission basis and they don't know any other way, and you share these deals. I have to be able to prove it. I'm in Missouri, the show me state. You have to be able to prove what you got. We have been very, very successful at this point with that, and it's helped. And everybody sharing ideas and information and not just holding on to what's, you know, trying to protect themselves. I think it's the biggest plus for us.
I can remember, of course, understand being an old guy, watching the Japanese factories and all this kind of stuff on, you know, you see different documentaries about the Japanese and stuff, and walk around and you'd watch these people and they were like, I don't want to say they were like zombies, but they were like, had smiles on their faces all the time. Well, after going through this, you kind of realize why. They were doing their job, they were laid back. When they left work, they were done. You know what I mean?
It's all-
I
it's
mean,
all
that's what
about-
it was all about. They didn't have all that stress and everything on them. They're laid back, kind of the same with us. I mean, you know, sometimes you get really busy, you're stressed a little bit, but on the overall, I think everybody's laid back. Our whole concentration is work. I mean, we got people to support us. I mean, when we're working on a car, you say, man, I need this, I need that. You know what I mean? It's brought to you. You stay right there and work, and that's what it's all about. Is having your technicians to where they can try and dedicate 100% of their time, touch time on that car. And it makes a big, big difference. But yeah, I know why the Japanese are so somber and smiling all the time. They got it going
It's
on.
about working smoothly, not frantically. And yeah, for years we were programmed that way, and even for us and my, you know, former shop foreman, you know, that's all we knew, right? If there wasn't a fire, you didn't feel like you were producing anything. And so to get to this level to where you see there's a little more free time, you can talk a little bit, you can think about things, that's a big deal. And some days that's hard to let go, because in our days, you know, it was run, and if you weren't, you know, scattered, then
Yeah, I guess I can remember back in the early 90s, remember I ran O'Neill. I had 29 people, so yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just,
Well, I think it was because we didn't know there was any difference.
right,
I
absolutely.
mean, we had been in that mindset all those years.
Work hard,
We didn't know there was a
not work
different
smart.
way.
It,
You know, nobody had ever tried this.
Yep.
You know, that was just the way it was, and that was you want to change what?
Well, and a lot of times people weren't able to make the changes. You know, the people who had the ideas to make things better weren't allowed to make changes or respected, or nobody cared. Do what you're told. And so this year, when we've come a long way, but before that, so 2012, January 2012, our lean journey started, and for 3 years we kind of floundered around in what I call Kaizen events, which is we have to do some type of disruptive thing to make improvements and changes, whether we shut down and had consultants come in, or we just decided enough is enough and we'd get better and then we'd stop. And then there'd be a period of time, days, weeks, months, until we would decide to improve and make some changes again. And most of it was me driving that change, and that's hard whenever you got people pushing back, going, that won't work, they tried that in the 80s, and it's proven that won't work in the collision environment, or we can't apply it here because there's so much variability. And it was just hard. I mean, I was beat down, ready to give up, and kind of read the Paul Akers book that Chris kind of started it all for me on the 2-second lean. I think it was the third time that I read it. It was Christmas time last year, and I read it for the third time because I was homesick for Christmas. I think the Christmas Eve, missed breakfast and all the stuff, and was reading it again and just kind of had a light bulb moment go off and say, it's not about you. It don't matter what you do. You don't have the great ideas. It's you guys, everybody here. So this year, my goal was to, number one, get on the shop floor and be out here every single day, minimum 2 hours. And I've tried to do that every single day. And the next thing was to me stop doing and to start teaching you guys. And so rather than me trying to push everything, I stopped and we came back and said, how do we teach you guys? And what we started with was, how do you see waste? You can't fix the waste and improve it until you can see it. So we really focused on the 8 wastes, and that's why we went through and we didn't just recount it by memory, the 8 wastes. We went through and told a story with it. And that allows you to remember it better because you can relate it to a story. So my favorite improvement was allowing you guys to make the changes, and rather than just throwing you out to the fire, say, hey, fix it guys, go do it. I knew we couldn't do that because a lot of people have never been asked their opinion or asked to do things. So I thought about all those support type things that need to happen. So that's why we do leadership training. That's why we do managerial training. That's why we're teaching you all of these other more well-rounded type of activities so that you can improve yourselves. And I believe that if we put all our money and all our investment, all our time in you guys, that you will make us win. So we've kind of flipped it. So rather than being all about our customers, we've made the shop all about you guys. Spend all of our time, all of our money, all of our resources back here, and in teaching you guys to get better and improve your attitude, make you able to make changes using your intellectual knowledge, not just your hands. You do more than fix cars now. You're a process engineer and you're able to fix the process of fixing cars. So we kind of flipped it to where you're able to make improvements, and then now you reach out to our customers in a much better way, whether that's through customer service in the office or whether that's through the quality of work that we provide or the certainty in the repair that we provide or to our downstream customer. That's how we serve each other. So that's probably been the biggest thing for me as far as improvement, putting all our faith in you. And it was a huge gamble, a lot of money to stop and not fix cars and improve and to put all this time and effort and resources into you guys. But I'm so glad we did. We're only 10 months in and I'm on fire. So glad that we stopped to allow you guys to take this. And beyond that, we want to influence our community. And we've done that. We've had well over 100 people come through and tour our facility in the last 10 months. And we're starting to influence not just body shops, but we're influencing our community members that are coming in. We've got more tours scheduled for next week. Director of Johnson County Board of Services is coming in to tour our facility and see what we do. They heard about us, and so now people are kind of coming to us, and we're happy to help because that's what we're trying to do is leave things better than we found it. Not just here at the shop, but we're hoping that it overflows into our community and our personal lives to make everything better, because we're trying to stop the struggle. Why continue to do the same thing over and over and hope that there's a different result? And that's the definition of insanity. That's where we've been living for decades as an industry. That's my
Good. Well, I think 2015. I think from the beginning of the year when we all went around saying how we felt about lean to right now what I just heard from everybody, I think that everybody's on board, and I think that we've built a really good team. Everybody's working together really good this year, and right now especially. And I think we're extremely lucky to get the.
I want to give a thank you to Casey London, the team at Warrensboro Collision Center, for letting us tour your wonderful facility. You guys have done an amazing job with lean, and the best of luck in 2016.